Welcome to the second year of learning together, staying together in these very difficult times. This year is being taught in memory of my dear father, Rav Moshe Ben Beryl, whose 4th Yortzeit is today. So, where do we go from now? Many people will be guided by their communities, as we have been in the past, to say Tehillim. When things get tough, Jews open up the sacred pages of Tehillim and pour our hearts out over texts that were written so many years ago, but somehow magically contain the exact words and emotions that express so carefully and so appropriately how we are feeling. Chapter 142 is one of my favorite chapters. We say in this chapter, I cry aloud to the Lord, I appeal to the Lord loudly for mercy. I pour out my complaint before him. I lay my trouble before him. When my spirit fails within me, you know my course. They have laid a trap in the path I walk. Look at my right and see, I have no friend. There is nowhere I can flee. No one cares about me. So I cry to you, Hashem, and I say, you are my refuge, all I have in the land of the living. Listen to my cry, for I have been brought very low. Save me from my pursuers, for they are too strong for me. Free me from my prison, that I may praise your name. The righteous shall glory in me, for your gracious dealings with me. There was once a fellow who was walking down the street, minding his own business, when he fell into a deep pit. The poor man cried out for help, but the streets were deserted. After some time, a doctor passed by, heard his screams. Sorry, I can't stop right now, but here's a prescription for you. With this, the kind doctor threw a piece of paper into the pit. After some more time elapsed, a lawyer passed, and he too heard the cry of despair. Sorry, time is money. I can't stop, but here is my card. When you get out, call me and we'll sue. With this, he dropped his card down the hole and walked off. Our poor victim was now at his wit's end, despairing of any help, but just then, a friend of his came along. Upon hearing his buddy's voice, the newcomer quickly jumped into the deep pit. What have you done? Now we're both trapped here, cried the first man. Not really, my friend said. True, we are in the same pit, but I've been in this hole before, and I know how to get both of us out. Don't think it's too much of a stretch of a metaphor to suggest that we are all in the same pit. But listening to this moment of Torah that we're sharing together shows that that with us are our true friends. We're also being guided by our Torah leaders who can help us to get out of the pit. As in past generations, whenever Jews struggled, Tehillim was where they went. There is something about everyone saying holy words together, whilst in pain, whilst struggling, that seems to actually be cathartic, and it brings healing. When we share the same words, there is light that becomes apparent at every level. The Torah portion this week describes in minute detail, which we're not going to get to here, the building of the Mishkan. Much later on in the book of Bamidbar, in the Seder of Nassau, which happens to be the longest Seder in the Torah, it describes what each of the tribes did just as the Mishkan was being put into use. What rituals they performed in honor of the tabernacle. And it tells us in painstaking detail, in repetitive detail, how each leader of the tribes brought exactly the same gift. Everyone the same. And it could have written it as, this is what the 12 tribes brought, but it lists every single one of the 12. Now it seems superficially that they all brought the same thing. So why not just list it in one go? And this is the power of saying the same words, but it's always going to be different. Although it may seem that each gift was identical, in Hashem's eyes, each gift was treasured as if it was original. The prince's gifts came from their hearts, and no one can replicate what another person's feeling at that particular moment. They may have appeared superficially identical, but the fervor, the flavor of their desire to give was individual and unique. Nothing was copied. Everything came from an original wellspring of understanding. Therefore, each is enumerated as a new and remarkably novel gift. When we daven And I don't just mean opening the book and saying you've got to get from page 4 to page 22, and if you've done that, you're a good Jew, and if you skip a bit out, you're less good. I mean, connecting with our Father in heaven, really connecting, speaking from the heart. Each of us says the same words, but the experiences behind those words, the energy of what they represent, is special to each individual. Your cry from that pit comes from who you are and what facets of the darkness are most troubling to you. Are you feeling pursued? Are you feeling, as the chapter said, in prison? Are you feeling in a pit? What aspect of the current chaos is bothering you? Do you feel isolated? Is that the dominant theme at the moment? When someone else comes along and adds his own thinking, his own insight, and yes, his own unique brand of heartbreak, then a new bond is created, one that will cast light and show all the participants a way out. This chapter reaches places that no other does. It delves into the deepest recesses of the heart, begging Hashem for salvation. My voice, says the chapter, is one that screams to Hashem. My voice is one that begs to Hashem. When we're terrified, our words become mangled and distorted, but we can comfort ourselves with the knowledge that the voice of such pain is always heard. We need to move beyond that all too British stiff upper lip and just let those feelings flood out of us. If it's only the voice, only the sound that escapes from our lips, so be it, because if it's directed to Hashem, it will find its place. King David cries with such a voice and indicates that it's his vehicle for being saved. I pour out my conversation before him. I explain my troubles to him. It isn't a simple thing to open yourself up, to express your troubles. We have this veneer that we can cope, that we are strong, we are brave, we are confident. But actually now, we need to share with each other how we feel. Chaverim makshivim. We need friends who listen. Not superficial kiss, kiss, smile, smile, but really opening our ears and really listening. Even if it's difficult, even if we feel tormented when we express ourselves. The passage teaches that deep inner searching must be coupled with davening. You must pray to be able to pray. Do you get that? In order to daven well, we should daven that we can daven well. When my spirit is enwrapped in anguish about me, we say in this chapter, Hashem, you are aware of me, you know my pathway, you know how I can get out of this. The path of life often bears down on us with so much force that we wonder, how do we ever get to stand up? An outsider can never truly understand what his fellow man carries within himself. That which makes us unique also makes it impossible for others to comprehend our feeling. Only Hashem knows the full extent, the full meaning of the impact events may have on any individual. One of the worst emotions is loneliness, isolation, which is precisely what so many people are being asked to do. When we fall into life's pits and think we are alone, our pain is unbearable. Our hopes for refuge dissolve when no one recognizes who we really are, who we could be. So we scream to Hashem, I declare, you are my hope. The secular world would have us believe that any thought of Hashem should be in terms of the next world, spiritual things. Judaism says differently. Hashem exists now. Hashem is real now. Hashem can hold our hands now. Hashem can carry us now. The only safe place in this world of pits and falls is with Hashem. The world is being shown, as so many have said, that we are not in control. We might be smart, but we can't outsmart Hashem. So we're all in the pit together. Listen. Be the shoulder for someone to cry on. Don't tell them you've got problems. Let them tell you theirs. Empathize. Don't try and outdo them with your problems are somehow worse than anybody else's. Everyone's problems are bad for them. We believe that Hashem gives us what we can cope with. Let's call out to Hashem. Let's get real with prayer, not as a turning of a page, not as standing as part of a minyan, but individually learning to talk. When you're feeling alone, open your lips, open your heart and talk to Hashem. If we succeed in making that real, we might just have found the way out of our pit. Thanks for listening. Get in touch. Don't be alone. If you know of someone who needs help, tell me, tell each other. Let's stick together, keep together as a community. And please God, we will weather this storm together and come out on the other side. We can dance together and celebrate good things. Have a good day.